Well, hello, friends. Welcome to The Social. It is Wednesday, March the 25th. And guess what? Gang's all here. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
So listen, this is the rule of the land. Physically distance yourself from other people to stay safe. But that does not mean that we cannot be socially connected. And all of us are coming to you from different parts of our home. So let's do a round robin. Lainey, we haven't seen each other, and the audience, we miss them to death, and I'm sure they want to know, how have you been doing and where are you today?
I am in my kitchen at home, physically distancing, as they say. My blog, though, LaineyGossip.com, is still operational because coronavirus cannot stop celebrity gossip and cannot stop celebrities from generating their own news stories. So I have a duty to bring this out there to the world.
Yes, I love it. Okay, what about you, Jess? Where are you and how are you?
I am thankful for Lainey Gossip for giving me a lot of things to read. And right now I'm in the dining room that doubles as book storage, which doubles as my office as well. And we've been good. We've been, making the most of it at home, missing family a great deal. But you know what? If that's all that I have to complain about right now, that's A-okay by me.
Okay, looking great. Cynthia, where are you?
I'm on the third floor of our house, and everything's going all right. It's I'm just trying to take things moment by moment and finding little things, little joys, little things to appreciate, little activities to do, rediscovering things about I feel like my relationship with both Jason and Jaya. So I'm trying to constantly keep a good spin on this whole thing.
Yeah. And Marcy.
I'm in the living room right now, and things are quiet because I've got the kids in their rooms. That's what's happening. You know what? Keeping them busy. That's why you're not seeing Dash fly by right now or hearing place, because they're keeping busy. It's like school during the day. So between 9 and 3, I've got Dash doing spelling and math, and he's doing some creative writing and different things. And Blaze's teachers have actually sent assignments online. So it's a work day. We have breakfast in the morning and then we get to it like it's a school day.
Do you find that structure is helpful?
It's so helpful because, there's only so much that we can do. Dash wants to get outside. He misses his friends. He wants to play. He wants to go to the park. He doesn't understand really, although I'm trying to explain, why he can't see them. He wants timelines. Okay, Ma, so we can't get together with Parker today. Can we next week? Can we in 4 days? And it's hard to get answers.
Yeah, it's true.
You can't make any promises.
Exactly. No promises.
Okay, you guys, because we are The Social, and this is kind of like the social distancing version, we still want to get into some topics, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, because we found out today that Prince Charles tested positive for coronavirus. So he has only mild symptoms, and he and Camilla are in self-isolation in Scotland, but we're hearing more and more famous people, celebrities coming forward who have tested positive. What are your thoughts around this? And does it become sort of more real as we hear about famous people contracting the virus?
I mean, I don't think it becomes more real. I think Prince Charles, literally his only job is to meet people. So he would probably be theoretically at higher risk than all of us combined, because if you just look at his schedule, his job is constantly meeting people day in and day out. And so I think he would have been at a higher risk. And it turns out that they have in fact reached out to everybody that he has been meeting with over the last several weeks to notify them, hey, you met with Prince Charles in close quarters within 2 meters. So you need to make sure that you're okay. So I think that, it turns out he's got mild symptoms so far, and Camilla is testing negative, but he's the guy. He's the one.
Mel, don't you think it's still a little bit eerie? Like when you find out all of these names of celebrities that you've heard, and then you think there are way more celebrities than there are of us commoners, yet we have this list of celebrities, and you think about the odds and the chances. I just find it a little bit spooky, meaning that there are probably so many more of us that have it than we know. And
the virus doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't feel more real for me when it comes to celebrities. They're just out there. I don't feel that I have anything in common, but I have a good friend who has COVID, and that hit home. She's one of my very good friends. She's like an aunt to the kids. Her girls are like cousins to my kids. And I literally packed some supplies up and left them at her door. She had gone to the States on a trip. She'd gone skiing and come back and then tested positive. She started an Instagram account called #IamCovid just to reach out. She says that, you know, it just brings her comfort hearing from other people and being able to, as she puts it, report from her room where she's under quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
What
gosh.
a time, though, for the British royal family, because it's not like they haven't been in the headlines over the last, 3, 4, 5 months with the whole Prince Harry situation. And now that Prince Charles is self-isolating, there's been a lot of talk about that royal chain of command. I mean, Her Majesty the Queen is in her 90s, so they're saying, like, right now she needs to take a seat because she is high risk. Charles is out of commission, so in the chain of command, that would leave Prince William, who's next, and then his children, but they're too young to sort of manage. So after that is Prince Harry, who's old enough to really have responsibilities. But hey, you rejected him. You said he couldn't be like royal the way he was trying to modify it. Like, it's an interesting time for the royals, for sure.
Isn't it? Are you also interested in the reasoning behind why all these celebrities seemingly have like unlimited access to these tests? Right? It's like, is there some kind of secret like website like coronavirustest.com, and how much are these?
Elba?
Right? Idris Elba. Like,
Right.
yeah. But here's the thing. It's like, I mean, this is where I get confused, because there was an article a little while ago on CNN that said that a coronavirus test can actually be developed if you have the right things in 24 hours. So the question is like, why are certain countries doing it? I heard that Iceland pretty much tested everybody, from my understanding. And
yeah, but there's only 3,000 people there.
Okay, but still, and then and you're hearing these
tested like 300,000 people.
Right. But the thing is that like, and right now our PM, we know his wife, Sophie Gregoire Trudeau, was diagnosed with it. And so, Justin Trudeau separated, and he hasn't been tested because he's asymptomatic and he's self-isolating. But we know now that you can still carry the virus when you're asymptomatic. So I'm left kind of very confused about the testing, not testing, and I'm interested to see how this evolves in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it's an interesting one that you bring up, because I mentioned Idris Elba earlier, Zen, and so he was one of the first celebrities confirmed diagnosed with COVID-19. And at the time, his wife Sabrina was with him in that video. Remember that video where he posted on social media confirming it? And he said at the time she didn't have it. Well, now she says that she has COVID-19. And there's been some chatter online about, hey, what happened to physical distancing? You know, when you get it, Idris, why didn't you separate from him? And she was like, you know, when you love somebody, you want to be there for them and you want to care for them. And there are some people who've been critical and some people who've defended it, saying like, could you leave your family?
Well, you know what? It's interesting is that you said famous names, and he was, I think, the second biggest one that I recall, because Tom Hanks was the first. And it's interesting because Rita Wilson, his wife, and Tom, they both announced at the same time that they had both been tested and they both had it at the same time. And yet there's no real negative talk about Rita. Who knows? Maybe Tom did get it first and she was also taking care of him. So it's an interesting thing that now we're jumping on Sabrina, because she's like, I couldn't help it. I wanted to take care of my husband, which I think we could all understand.
Oh, yeah.
I can understand because it's Idris Elba. The flip side is he's not sick enough to not take care of himself. There are people who clearly would need assistance and help. I need someone to make me food, get me my water, help me go to the bathroom. Idris was like mild symptoms, if any. Those were his words. So that's the case where I'm like, okay, Sabrina, the only thing I'm going to give her is we are all learning more every day that passes. And that's already ancient history, it feels like, what they announced. And I think that maybe we didn't know as much then, or we didn't take it as seriously then as we are today, and we know the difference. So that's where I'd kind of like, okay, you know what, Sabrina, we get it. We're all learning every day.
I feel like there's this double standard almost. If heaven forbid I got it, I would insist that anyone I love stay away from me. Like leave a little package of food at the top of the stairs, I'll go get it. But reverse it, and if someone I love got it, I don't think I could stay away. I don't think I could. If Simon got it, the impulse to nurture and take care of him and love him, or like a parent if they got it, I don't think I could. And I know that goes against all conventional wisdom and medical authority. I think it's way harder said than done.
You know what? Yeah. Think of the love poems that would come out of you.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking, Jessie, I hear exactly what you're saying, but if you're a parent, it's a little bit different, right? Because the other parent becomes the go-to. So right. In my situation, seriously, my situation, you know, I have to stay healthy. Lloyd's trying to stay healthy. But if either one of us were to go down, we're the go-to parent because we've got kids that need us. With Idris Elba, I believe he's got an 18 or 19-year-old daughter. And so that's fine. In that case, they didn't have kids. I mean, she can take care of herself. She's got a mother. Sabrina's not her mom. But if you're having to care for kids or even elderly parents, like in the case of my sister and I, for example, if my sister goes down, I'm the go-to. Right. If I go down, she's the go-to. So it's also difficult.
There's some like pragmatic problems with this. I mean, of course, we're talking about celebrities, right? So they have like the space. Like if I wanted to separate from Jason right now, like we have at least a couple. It could be doable. It would still be complicated. But how many people are living? I mean, I'm thinking a lot. I woke up in the middle of the night and was thinking about people who live in apartment buildings where they're all using the same elevator every single day. How does social distancing work when you only have one bathroom and one kitchen? Like you're going to be having, like it becomes very complicated.
You just go to your guest house.
Right, you go to your guest house. Like, yeah, that's what apparently is happening with Edmund and Oprah. But you know what I've also been thinking about is honestly people who are not in great relationships, who are
oh my God,
or who are having affairs. Think about people who are having affairs right now. I would love to like do a deep dive.
What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, because you're supposed to be socially distancing, but we know people who are in affairs a lot of times are sneaky and they can find ways. And obviously I'm not endorsing that idea, but I'm just curious about people who are so drawn into and want to avoid their own partner. What kinds of, how are they connecting with each other?
Oh my God, Cynthia, did you hear about that story? You're gonna love this. So I think one of the UK tabloids, it was The Sun, published this story. It's called like a blind story. They didn't name the person, but it was some sort of like prominent business person in the north of England told his wife that he was going on a business trip, ended up going to Italy with his mistress. And you know, Italy has been the center in Europe of COVID-19, and then they contracted COVID-19 and and she was like, well, where did you like pick up the virus from?
I thought you were going to say they got locked down and stuck in Italy.
No,
but still.
Yeah, so I mean, it was and I think it was The Sun in the UK or one of those papers published this. They didn't have the name of, or they didn't like reveal the name of the person, but it was a little bit like one of those stories like,
I'm just so grateful right now to have like an uncomplicated relationship. Even still, there's a point in time every day where me and Jason and Jaya have to like separate from each other because it's hard no matter what. Yeah. So
just for sanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many articles online right now about how to save your relationship during physical distancing. And I think on day 2, I said to Yasik, I was like, do you think the divorce rate's going to go up when
you know what? At the very minimum, it's going to be testing. It's going to be testing at the very minimum, 100%. It's a legitimate discussion. Another legitimate discussion is one that is sort of taking on a new life today in the news. So if you've been watching, like literally within the last half hour, the federal government has said that anybody coming to Canada, automatically you're self-isolating, which like we kind of know is the must. But there have been thousands of Canadians stuck abroad, literally thousands. And so the question now is, now that there's these reports coming out in the news of Canadians trying to come back home who are hiding symptoms just to be able to get on the plane and then get back home and then maybe revealing that they're not feeling the greatest. These reports are becoming more common because I would imagine, this is me editorializing, but you're feeling more and more desperate the longer you're away from home. So let's talk ethics here. It's you're away, Justin Trudeau, our prime minister, says you need to come home. You're like, yep, I'm getting ready to come home. All of a sudden, you start to feel a little feverish. What do you do?
Oh my gosh.
Plane or not?
It's so tough. It's a tough one, but it's not the time to be thinking about self right now. Like, I get it. I would still want to be home, but you get on a plane. There are people in high risk categories on the plane, you know, and all of a sudden they're at risk. I couldn't live with that. Seriously. Like, if I was ill or feeling symptoms and I was about to get on, I couldn't live with the fact that I might make somebody desperately ill that's on that plane. Like,
or kill them.
Like, I couldn't live with that. I couldn't.
But Marcy, what if you wore a mask? Because we know the only people who should be wearing masks are people who are sick, not feeling. You put a mask on. You put a hoodie on real tight.
Tell a flight attendant, maybe they see
what?
you.
Yes, no. Well, I'm going through the scenarios. I'm not saying what I'm suggesting is right. You know, the law says they are not supposed to let you on a plane if you have any symptoms, and you've got to stay back until you feel better. But
but there's no guarantees, right? With the mask and there are no guarantees.
But now we know the thing is that people are communicable when they aren't showing any symptoms.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about like the level of symptoms that you need to have. Like, people have terrible smokers' coughs, like, and so like, obviously you'd know that if you were a smoker, but like people have allergies, seasonal allergies. So I think you'd have to know in your heart, like one of the telltale signs that I've been reading more and more about is that you lose the sense of smell. And fever as well, it comes along. So I think you had telltale signs. I do think it's unethical, but if you're just getting like it does become something complex. Right now we're dealing with this. Jason's mom is still in Spain. She has an apartment in Spain and she's in this really small town. And we are talking to her every day. And the thing is that we'd love to have her come back. But the problem is for her to get out of this small town and go to a major city and then get a train and then go to, she'd have to end up in Barcelona or Milan probably to fly out. She is one of those people who also does, to be honest, have a smoker's cough. And I wonder if along the way, A, if she's exposing herself to more stuff, and B, if she would be misperceived as having, symptoms when she doesn't actually. Anyway, it's because that's a kind of sideline, but it's become a bit of a headache.
Wow.
I'll be curious when this is all over to sort of read some sort of analysis or history of how our airports handled this all. Because when I got back from Italy on March 2nd, which feels like it was 2 years ago now, but we were expecting the worst at the airport. We were, sort of bracing ourselves for long lines, for questions, for maybe testing. And there was absolutely zero questions. There was nothing. It was one of my fastest sort of processes through the airport ever. And I remember being, like a mix of emotions, being like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And then also like, holy smokes, there should have been more questioning. And I read that they didn't really start doing that from people coming from Italy until March 12th. Like, I think a lot of mistakes have been made along the way, and it will be very interesting almost to have a postmortem of the way that everyone handled it after.
Wow. Well, life definitely continues to change. And one of the things that are changing is people, are working from home, like we are. They're relying on video conference calls, right? More and more. So we actually had a viewer write to us with a question. Andy says, one of my new guilty pleasures while self-isolating is looking into the homes of reporters and TV personalities who are hosting from home. Andy asks, am I alone in this? So are we curating our spaces, guys? What are we doing when it comes to video conference calls?
Okay, so I mean, right now, because the news is the news, right? Like, it is the biggest celebrity in terms of like coronavirus I don't know if this sounds insensitive, is the biggest celebrity right now. That is the top headline, right? And so it means journalists who are reporting from home are the ones who are being seen by the most people. They're the ones who are like, who have the #1 hit on the charts or the #1 video or whatever. And so I like to think of it as the same way that celebrities filter and use makeup and present the best face of themselves and their body. They're doing that with their homes too. Like their homes are getting glow ups. Their homes are getting filtered. Their homes are getting totally modified so that, yeah, they can show it off. They know more than anybody else. It's like, I mean, all of us today picked a certain area to shoot in, right?
We
like,
picked
it's like over your right shoulder.
Yeah. I curated my kids out of the shot is what I did. So I curated my kids right into the bedrooms is what I did.
These pictures behind me are concealing a whole host of problems. I put them here because it's a veritable storm of disaster. But I realize what I like when I'm watching these shows is like, I think to myself, both the TV personalities I've seen, I'm like, you make a lot more money than I do. But then the other thing is that I think to myself, like, oh, like where are your disaster zones? I would love for them to just like, I might peel this back.
That's a really good idea. We should do it from like the ugliest disaster area in our house. I'm just showing off that I learned how to read during my self-isolation.
I have my little one. She's my good angel. As our producer Amber said, she's sort of just right here. But when I've been watching everybody at home, especially reporters or people who really understand probably better than most what framing looks like, what lighting should be, I'm still shocked at how, like, you know, besides the background. Well, here's the thing. You don't want to be a reporter reporting something serious like coronavirus and have a mess behind you, because then you are actually distracting from your work. Right? I don't want to watch you, but then I can't get over your laundry strewn all over the room behind you, right? Like that is exactly why you do have to pick something kind of, I don't want to say pretty. It's not about being pretty, but it's something that doesn't distract from your message if you are especially reporting on a very serious story. Having said that, I'm still shocked by like lack of knowledge about angles and lighting, because that is equally distracting to me. If half your face is in dark shadow and you're trying to tell me a really serious statistic, I just can't get over your bad lighting. Maybe that's just me, but I need to see your face. I want to like see it. I
miss you so much. Oh my God. Holy.
Don't distract me with your stuff. Don't distract me with your shadows.
Mel Grelo.
Yeah, you know. Well, ladies, we're ending on a bit of a lighter note, I suppose, as light as you can be in a time like this. This has been a lot of fun, peering into your homes. We'll see what these shots look like the next time we do this, for better or for worse. Take away from this conversation. Listen, this has been amazing to connect in this way. Like we said, we're physically distancing, but that does not mean we can't socially connect. This has been so much fun. Why don't we do this again another time very, very soon? What do you say, ladies?
Yes, please.
Love it.
Yes, please. Well, that is it for the social today. Thank you for watching. Please, to everybody, stay safe, stay distant, physically distant from one another, and to all the frontline workers and essential workers especially, we're all thinking of you as well. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you again very, very soon.